I really hope PETA or any of those other animal activist rights groups weren't watching the USC game because the Trojans, they were dragging the Bears up and down the field, and it was like watching somebody clubbing a bunch of baby seals on the way to the Trojans' 73-13 victory. I got my instant reaction coming up next.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Marc, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day, or maybe it's your last listen every day. I'm here for an instant reaction show. USC got out of the box. Want to know, they beat Missouri State 73-13. So whether you're watching this show on YouTube, wherever you want to download this podcast, this show is going to always be free. This show is always going to appreciate your support. And this episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use that code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. I'm not even sure where to start. I'm going to do offense first segment, defense second segment, and I'll kind of give you an overall thing in the third segment, including my opinion on how the coaching staff did in the first game. But man, however you want to look at this game, right? You're going to have a hard time finding mistakes. USC handled their business the way everyone, you know how I don't like to use the word expected, but everyone expected them to do against a team they should beat, like a drum. And that's what they did. They took Missouri State, a former FCS team, that's where they were last year, and they treated them like an FCS team. Final score, USC 73-13, and I'll tell you what, they probably should have scored 80. We'll get to that here momentarily. That 73 points is the most USC has scored since they dropped 74 points. And that was a shutout, but that was all the way back in 1930 against their oldest rival, the Cal Bears. Now, you might remember USC dropped 70 on Arkansas at the Coliseum. What was that, back in 2005? But this was the first time they've scored more than 70 since 1930. Again, that was a 74-0 shutout that USC put on the Berkeley Bears back in the day. I mean, USC has scored, I think it has something to do with that specific animal. And let me show you why. They beat the Cal Bears 74-0. We know USC has scored 66 a few times recently. They did it against Nevada. They did it against Rice in back-to-back years. And then go to that epic beatdown that USC put on the UCLA Baby Bears, the Bruins, back in 2005. What was that score? 66-19. And here you go. You're bringing the Missouri State Bears, and USC says, you know what? We got to get this done. Here's 73. Take this back home to Southwest Missouri State. Here's how bad it was. When I left the press box with under 6 minutes to play, that's usually our alarm, right? Get your stuff together, head down to the field so you can get ready for the post-game interviews. I'm in the elevator heading down the field. I get on the field. I look up. I said, oh, there's 73 points. I missed a touchdown. But that's how it happens. That's just how things work here. Carson Toparachi, he became the 9th Trojan to score a touchdown in this game. He was the guy. So the tight ends were involved. And like I said, the only reason USC did not match their school record of 80 points is because backup edge rusher Garrett Pomerantz, friend of the show, he's been a guest before. I don't know what he was trying to do, but he didn't follow his blockers, and he did everything possible to get tackled. He did. He literally all he had to do was take a diagonal route towards the USC sideline, towards the corner of the end zone. He would have scored. I think he was just as shocked that he had the interception, and I think he just got kind of caught up in the moment. So I'm not going to give Garrett too much grief. The team might never let him live it down because, again, it was a sure thing touchdown. And to compound it, he let the quarterback tackle. Can't let that happen. Can't let that happen, Garrett. But I'm really happy for you. You got a lot of playing time, and you took advantage of it. This is how dominant USC was on offense, how dominant they were as a team. USC led 14-3 at the end of the first quarter. USC had the ball to start the second quarter, and 10 seconds into it, it was 21-3. I mean, the Bears scored first. They won the coin toss. They took the kickoff, and they settled for a field goal. They held that 3-0 lead. And then this game kind of turned into, remember USC versus Alabama in Dallas? That's what this game turned into. So the Bears scored first, but USC scored a lot. And they scored a lot more. And a lot more after that. Like I said, complete domination. Check out these first half stats. USC held a 42-10 lead at halftime. This is how good they looked. 382 total yards on offense, 295 through the air, just 87 rushing. Don't let that just 87 get you, because USC finished with 233 yards on the ground, and you'll understand why here in just a second. But yeah, 382 yards of offense in the first half, 295 through the air. Jaden Mayava was nearly perfect. He was fantastic. I think he made just one mistake. And that mistake was missing Mekhi Lemon deep over the middle in the end zone for a touchdown. He had him. He knows it. You should have saw Jaden's reaction after he missed the throw. He went down to his knees. He's like, he bowed to the ground. He slammed his hands, got up. It didn't matter. USC scored on that drive, but that was really his only mistake. When you look at the big picture, his overall game. And he only played the first half. This is how good he was. 15 for 18, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air. Oh, he also ran for another one. So 5 offensive drives. Okay. 5 touchdown drives. USC scored 42 points. The other touchdown was Bishop Fitzgerald, pick 6. Talk about him in the next segment. Look, Jaden never threw any questionable balls. There were no throws where you're like, no, don't do that. None of that. None of that. I mean, he made great decisions. He pulled the ball down at the right time. He ran the ball effectively. I told you he had that short touchdown run. USC fans, you are in a really good situation with the quarterback room right now. I get it. It was Missouri State. The competition's going to ramp up as we go. But in this game, Jaden Mayava looked like a Heisman contender. And when he handed the keys off to Husan Longstreet, there wasn't that much of a drop-off. Husan is going to fit perfectly into Lincoln Riley's offense going forward. So he just has to kind of get his timing down. He needs to understand that you only get 3 alligators. Sometimes you get 4 Mississippis, or 1 alligator, 2 alligators, before all of a sudden you got to get rid of the ball. He held on the ball too long. It led to a sack. But when he did, get his throws off, he was 9 for 9. He only threw for 69 yards, but he also had that touchdown pass. He ran for a couple other scores. Like I said, his athleticism off the charts. Perfect fit for Lincoln Riley's offense. Perfect fit. Now, as I mentioned, he needs to, get up to the speed of the game. When he drops back for a pass, you don't get 10 seconds, Husan. You just don't. You got to learn that. But overall, first college experience. I'm nitpicking right now. So he did get sacked. He did fumble. I'm still trying to figure out how Elijah Vicona, he literally belly flopped on top of the ball. I don't know how that ball did not pop into flight. But anyways, it was kind of a funny moment. Here's a really cool stat. I think you're going to love this. Jaden Mayava's 295 yards through the air. 261 of those came after the catch. That was something that was missing last year. There was no yak. This year, they got off to a great start. Lake McCree, 64-yard touchdown. Most of that was him after the catch. I didn't realize he had those kind of wheels, but he outran the defense. Eli Sanders took a swing pass in the flat. That went for 73, 74 yards, touchdown. He was literally separating from the defense. He's got speed to burn. It took, I guess if you want to make one constructive criticism about Lincoln Riley's play calling, it took him like 6 plays to call a running play. And then when he did finally hand it off to Waymon Jordan, Waymon scampered for 26 yards. They gave it to him on the next snap. Boom, 5-yard touchdown. That was pretty much his touches for the night. Everyone got a taste. Almost everyone got a taste. Walk-on running back King Miller. Heard that name before, right? Maybe lately, recently. He started getting some love at the NFL camp for a good reason. Dude is the real deal. Real deal. Handoff, 75 yards for a touchdown run. I don't even know if he was touched. And what was great about this, the entire second unit was in, including his twin brother, who was playing right guard at the time. So he was on the field watching his brother sprint for that touchdown. So that had been a great moment for the Miller family. I mean, USC finished the night 597 yards on offense, 364 yards through the air, 233 yards rushing. What did I say on the earlier episode of Locked on USC? They did it. Said they were going to need to get 200 on the ground. I thought Waymo would get 100. Nobody got 100. I mean, I think King Miller was the closest. They spread the wealth around. So you got to like the balance they had on offense. And when you got 9 guys scoring touchdowns, it's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. All right, next segment, I'm going to give you my instant reaction on the defense. College football is back. This is the first full weekend, and I had a lot of fun. I hope you did. And look, I couldn't be more excited. Look at me. USC 73, Missouri State 13. Well, what's not to be excited? The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands. There's just nothing like it. I love college football. But let's be real. Actually, getting tickets sometimes, it can feel like a battle. It can feel like a pain in the derriere. Just, you're in the endless line queues. There's those hidden fees. Prices jump when you go to check out. All that stuff. It makes buying tickets yucky. Well, that's why you should use Gametime. That's why I use Gametime. It's the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices, and there's no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. Look, I pulled up Gametime this weekend, just a couple of taps. Boom, boom. I saw a bunch of amazing deals. I mean, I'm talking about your favorite college football games for as low as $25 a ticket. The app made it super simple. I could even see the exact view from the seat before I checked out. No surprises. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, the promo code is LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. So the defense. Again, I'm really being nitpicky here because when you win 73-13, that's really all you can do. 2 mistakes on the defensive side of the ball. Other than that, Antonlynn's defense looked fantastic. Great. It looked marvelous. If you watched Saturday Night Live back in the day, you understand where it's going. That was a Billy Crystal thing. The opening drive, they allowed Missouri State to do what they needed to do to settle for a field goal. And then later in the first half, there was a communication breakdown. DJ Harvey and I believe it was Kennedy Urlacher. They both broke on the same wide receiver. Meanwhile, one of the guys they should have been covering kind of got behind them. easy touchdown pass. So other than that, the defense was fantastic. Perfect. So you take away that easy pitch and catch for the Bears, there's really nothing to complain about. On Friday's episode of Locked on USC, I said USC is going to win this game 56-10, maybe 13. Well, I got the 13 part right. I was short. I missed on the points. Sorry. I didn't think USC had another 17 points in them. It wasn't on my bingo card. I did not expect 70 points to be dropped, let alone 73. But I was close. I'll take it. This is the type of close you accept. Look, I said the Trojans needed to get to the quarterback, make his life miserable, get some sacks. They did. On the night, 5 sacks. That's good. That's a good number. 13 tackles for loss. That's a great number. 1 fumble recovery. 2 interceptions. I told you about Bishop Fitzgerald, a pick 6. By the way, he made that play happen. He baited the quarterback. He watched his eyes. And then all of a sudden, once the ball was released, he jumped the route, stepped right in front of the receiver, and he was off to the races. I talked about the 5 sacks. Braylon Shelby, he had 2. He's got a lead on Cameron Fountain, who only got 1. Kennedy Urlacher, he got another. Jide Abasiri. So Braylon Shelby had a hell of a game. 2 sacks, 3.5 tackles for loss. That's a good number. That's a good day. And he didn't play a lot in the second. In fact, I don't think he played in the second half. And if he did, it was maybe a handful of plays. So your sacks you got from Braylon Shelby, Cameron Fountain had 1, Kennedy Urlacher, Jide Abasiri. That'll get it done. Devin Tompkins didn't live up to the coach's billing. Not his fault. He didn't get a sack, but he did get a TFL. Eli Newby, linebacker, he actually led the team with 5 tackles. Desmond Stevens had 4. Eric Gentry had 3. Again, those guys did not play in the second half. Everybody got to play, and there was no drop-off. That was the best part. USC gave up another field goal in the second half, a 46-yarder. That was it. On the whole, USC's defense gave up just 65 yards on the ground. That'll get it done every single week. 159 yards through the air. That's it. The defense, they were flying around. They were making plays. That's what we wanted to see. Excuse me. They were intimidating the opponent. There was a play in the second half. Safety, Marquise Gallegos. He just annihilated one of the Missouri State receivers. He got there. He timed it perfectly. Now, the throw was slightly high. That the receiver left his feet to go for the ball, but Marquise did what he was supposed to do. Laid him out. And fortunately, the young man was able to get up under his own power and come off the field. But that's what you want to see from your safeties. You want to see guys playing like Taylor Mays. Intimidating. There was another play, I believe, in the first half. Everything's kind of running together, where 2 of the USC secondary players came together on the Missouri State receiver over the middle. Very reminiscent of Taylor Mays taking out the receiver and his own guy, Kevin Thomas. Fortunately, both USC players were okay. And I think even the Missouri State player was okay. But it was that type of physicality. Loved seeing it, especially from the secondary. They were great. The cornerbacks supporting the run, awesome. Marcellus Williams, Braylon Conley, DeCarlos, all of them. I mean, the confidence level right now on the defensive side of the ball it's surging. They have to take this and just roll it over next week when Clay Helton brings his Golden Eagles down, which I believe they got their butts handed to them by Fresno State in Fresno. And Clay's keeping the team in California for the week. So we'll see how they show up next weekend at the Coliseum for a 4:30 p.m. kickoff. Look, you can see the way this defense is playing right now. The way Cam Fountain especially. I even made this comment to him after the game when we were talking to him in the post-game presser. I said, it seems like you're diagnosing the plays before the snap, and you're just playing a lot looser, a lot freer. You're seeing what you're supposed to do. And it's like, spent a lot of time watching film, and yeah, it looked like we were ready. What we saw, we knew how to attack it. Cam's going to be a player, man. He is really, really good. Him and Braylon Shelby coming off the edge. Don't forget, you still got Anthony Lucas. You still got Jakeem Stewart, who, by the way, I think he brought the entire, at least half the state of Louisiana. I saw his family and friends walking towards the stadium before the game. Check out my Twitter. You'll see it. Great picture. So even though Jakeem didn't get to play, everybody was out there in full force supporting him. So yeah, it was great. It was fantastic to see just great effort. The discipline, the guys trusting everyone around them to do their jobs. Here's another play that just stood out to me that popped in my head. A little bit of a breakdown on defense where one of the Missouri State players got loose downfield. Floyd Boucard was chasing it down, making the tackle. And this was at least 15 yards. So you love that type of effort. As I said, great, fantastic performance from the D-line. They controlled the line of scrimmage. They made everyone else's job easier. I said it on yesterday's episode. USC needs to control the trenches, both offensive line, defensive line, and they did that. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. So, again, you want to take everything with a grain of salt. It's a school that's playing their first year at this level of football, Conference USA, FBS. Last year, they were the FCS. So they're still making that transition, trying to build a roster up to, a competitive roster. But yeah, when you're playing a team like that, as USC was, you beat a team like that the way you're supposed to. And US defense did everything they wanted. There was very little that they didn't want to do. And had the first string played more, you probably would be seeing Missouri State players being taken out from stretchers. I'm not wishing for injury. I'm just pointing out that that's how physical USC's defense was. And as the game wore on, the Missouri State players wore down. I felt bad for their quarterback. He was taking some big shots from the beginning of the game all the way until he was finally replaced in the second half. All right, one more segment to go. We're going to talk about Coach Riley and, just how the team looked. Hey, Locked On USC fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving your money behind. Get real cash back every single time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now. You can start earning cash at the pump today, the next time you put gas in. It's that easy. So go use my limited time promo code FOOTBALL, and you're going to get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just buying the gas you already need. At first I thought, wait, this is too good to be true, right? But it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes. Now you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or maybe you want to get one of those e-gift cards from Amazon or any of the other major brands that they're associated with. It's this easy. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now. Use my limited promo code FOOTBALL, and for a limited time, you're going to get 25 cents off per gallon on your first fill up. That's promo code FOOTBALL. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. So what I really enjoyed? And at first I was like, why are we doing this? But the coaching was great. And I was a little, concerned. I was like, why is Coach Riley sending the field goal team out leading 63-10? I thought that was a little odd. Kind of, why are you running up the score? But I get it. He needs to see, if Ryan Sayre can, kick field goals. He was perfect on extra points. You don't know when you're getting Cade Chittenden back, your place kicker. So I guess at first I was like, why are you doing this? And then when I thought about it, I was like, all right, I get it. You're not really running up the score. And it was a decent, length field goal, 36, 38 yards. It wasn't a gimme, but he made it. So, yeah, that made the score 66-10. What I liked is Coach Riley went to the bench immediately in the second half. Game was over at halftime. It was 42-10. But the play calling didn't stop. He stayed aggressive. He went for the jugular. And I thought that was pretty impressive. Because a lot of times I think in the past, maybe, sometimes you take your foot off the gas and you start to lose some of your discipline, right? The team isn't performing up to their capability. They get lazy, sloppy. So Coach Riley kept his foot, pedal to the metal. Kept it going. I mean, he didn't call a lot of passing plays, but again, Huson was 9 for 9. Watching him keep the ball, though, he's like putting an electric running back in the backfield. He's good. And like I said, once he gets the timing down, he's going to be great. So this is Jaden Mayaba's team right now. But, yeah, I think Huson's going to keep that competition going. But all of the groups, offense, defense, special teams, they look like they're well coached, well prepared for this game. There was one, I guess, special teams gaffe, call it that. Ryan was almost perfect with touchbacks. He had one that went out of bounds. So, Missouri State got to start on the 35-yard line. And then there was one time where, and I understand why Zacharias Williams did it. He was returning the punt. The ball, at least from our angle up in the press box, it looked like it might have hit the USC player. So he was kind of caught between, directing his guy to get out of the way and having the time picking up the ball on the bounce. It was that type of thing. So fortunately, it hit the Missouri State player, not the USC player. Illegal touching. USC got to keep the ball. So not a lot to really talk about with special teams. Kai Lemon returned a couple of punts, a couple of kickoffs, but other than that, that was it. Both he and Jacoby Lane got the majority of the night off. But overall, the team looked well prepared. Coach Riley was really enjoying the post-game presser. He's like, look, man, I haven't had to ask these guys to practice once during fall camp. He goes, we kind of knew we were going to come out ready to play like this. And it's because of the way they've been preparing during fall. He said, look, we didn't have to coax these players to step it up, to bring their game. They were ready. They came out ready to practice every single day. And as a coach, that's all you can ask for. Bring the effort. You're going to make mistakes, but bring the effort. It's okay to make mistakes if you're going up 100%. But don't make mistakes when you're only giving me 70%. That will piss off a coach. That'll piss off fans. Okay. So instant reaction overall, perfect way to start the season. 73-13 against an overmatched opponent. You're going to have another overmatched opponent next week, but you're stepping up a little bit in competition. And you have that whole welcome home Clay Helton thing playing around in the background. So I will be back with another episode tomorrow, like we always do. I'll get a little bit more in depth with this win over Missouri State and give you some more notes and observations, some quotes. But this was my instant reaction. So enjoy it, Trojan fans. It was a great win. It's a great start to the season. And, you know what else was nice? UCLA lost. So maybe it's going to be a perfect weekend. We don't know yet. Notre Dame, Miami is coming up. But if Miami does knock off Notre Dame, pop that bottle of champagne at the end of the weekend because you'll have earned it. So until that next episode, everyone, you know what to do. And don't forget, get on over there to wersc.com. There's going to be a lot of written content. A lot. So till the next episode, everyone, again, you know what to do.